There is a difference between having a sharp brain and running a sharp method. A clever mind without a method reacts to every ping, drifts with moods, and gets pulled by loud people. A method makes your brain hard to hijack. It keeps you calm, moves you toward outcomes, and turns noise into data. This is the brain hack method. Repeatable moves that make you look untouchable without becoming cold, and keep you focused without becoming rigid. First, name the real threat. Soft control. Soft control happens when others set your pace with quick questions, micro deadlines, and friendly nudges that slip past your lines. It looks harmless, but it steals attention and lowers your clarity. The fix is not a louder voice. The fix is structure you behave into existence. You speak simply, you enforce quietly, and you let the rules carry the message. That is how a brain stays clear inside a chaotic room. Start with reply windows. Your brain cannot be 10x if it is available 24/7. Choose exact times you respond, 2 or 3 windows, and live by them. This is not rudeness, it is reliability. When you answer inside the window every time, people stop shaking your day. Focus deepens, errors drop, quality rises. You train your circle that instant access is not value. Messages arriving outside the window get processed at the next window, with no apology. After a few weeks, the urgent pings shrink because urgency stops working on you. Now add the one-pass reset. Every brain collects bad patterns, open DMs, vague scopes, old prices, unlimited fixes. Most people try to fix these one at a time with long apologies. That keeps the mess alive. The method says, make one clean cut. Announce new rules once, reply windows, scope limits, revision cap, late fee, delivery days, and then enforce them without drama. Resistance will be loud for a moment and quiet for a long time. Your attention returns because yesterday's exceptions no longer run today. Machiavelli said, "It is much safer to be feared than loved, if one must choose between them." Read feared, as respected when it counts. In practice, people should feel certain about your consequences. Payment late? Work pauses. Extras requested? Second block? Later date? Higher price? Calls demanded during build hours? Calendar link only. Predictable beats pleasant because it protects outcomes. The method trains the room to respect your line without you raising your voice. Lead with outcomes, not recipes. Recipes invite debates. Outcomes end them. Instead of listing every step, name the result, the date, and where it will live. Dashboard delivered Tuesday 16 Mars in the shared folder. When you lead with outcomes, your brain carries fewer open loops. You build, you deliver, you close. If someone tries to pull you into process trivia, you decide how much kitchen access they can buy. Calm power lives in clear outcomes on a clock. Next, adopt pricing behavior that makes you impossible to control. Undercharging signals that your time can be bought cheap and used freely. Tie price to access and speed. Base price covers core outcomes with replies inside the window. Faster replies, more calls, or weekend handling live in higher tiers. Extras never slide in just this once. They move to a second block with a later date and a higher price. When someone asks for a favor, you route instead of resent. That belongs in the next block. I'll send the estimate. Your method removes the argument before it begins. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My brain is calm because my rules are clear. Protect access, not just feelings. Feelings matter, but access is what drains capacity. People will like you more when results land on schedule. Limit channels on purpose. DMs are for quick updates, docs are for edits, the calendar is for calls. If someone tries to do scope in DMs, paste it into the doc and answer there. If they push for off-hours calls, offer the premium tier or a later slot. The brain hack is not a trick. It is a gate. Gates open by design, not by pressure. Clean exits are the compression step that frees memory. At the end of each milestone, close with one paragraph: what's shipped, where it lives, who owns next, archive date, and the path to the next paid block. Do not add, "Let me know if you need anything else." That line unlocks the door you just shut. When someone returns with one quick fix, point to the exit note and the change log. You are not cold. You are complete. A complete exit releases mental RAM for the next build. Corrections beat apologies. When a boundary gets crossed, skip the essay. Issue a correction that moves the system forward. We are over time. The next call ends at minute 30. Invoice is past due. Work pauses until cleared. That request is out of scope. It moves to the second block. Corrections keep respect intact. Apologies invite debate. The more consistently you correct, the less often you need to correct. Run a weekly one-pass review. Machiavelli warned that fortune shifts and winners match action to the time. Your version. Adapt without losing the core. Ask 3 questions. What leaked? Where did I react? What gets reset? Then adjust once. Hours, tiers, exit lines. So next week is tighter than last week. Machiavelli wrote, "I hold it to be true that fortune is the arbiter of half our actions, but that she still leaves us to direct the other half. Your half is your method. Direct it. Use appearances to protect cognition. A clean frame, steady mic, punctual starts and ends. These are not vanity items. They are signals that shorten arguments. People argue less with a person who looks finished. Keep file names dated. Keep folders obvious. Keep the camera square and the lighting simple. When you look orderly, rooms treat you as reliable, and your brain spends less energy persuading and more energy producing. Make mornings sovereign. Most people hand their sharpest minutes to other people's alarms. Do the reverse. Build first, then read. If something is truly urgent, it meets the rush rate or waits for the window. This is the difference between a brain that is always tired and a brain that compounds skill. Calm mornings produce stronger afternoons. Stronger afternoons produce lighter nights. Write like a ruler so your brain does not have to referee. Use short lines and dated decisions. Replace, "Sorry, I was thinking we could maybe," with, "We're proceeding with option B, delivery, Wednesday 16. Replace, "I can do that, no worries," with, "That item is out of scope, moving it to the second block." Replace, "Can you jump on a quick call?" with, "Book a slot. Live calls, stay inside 30 minutes." Your words become rails that carry work without drama. Treat money as a map, not a mood. Keep a simple rate card that links access to price, standard tier for async and 2 revisions. Premium tier for weekly calls and fast replies. Rush and weekend rates by exception. Share the card once. Behave as if it is law. When cash is thin, reduce scope, not standards. You can trim features, but never sell your mornings or your reply windows for free. Discounting access is more expensive than discounting price. Document changes the moment they appear. A living change log turns "he said, she said" into "we signed, we shipped." Each new request gets aligned with date, cost, and scheduled start. At handoff, attach the changelog to your exit note. You will stop performing memory theater and start running a ledger. Ledgers calm brains. Brains that are calm solve hard problems. Keep your escalation ladder simple and visible. Step 1. Reminder of terms. Step 2. Reduced access. Step 3. Work paused. Step 4. Clean exit. All written. All calm. When people know the steps, they self-correct sooner, and you keep your energy for the work that pays. Leave this affirmation below. Reply windows, priced extras, clean exits, results on schedule. When someone says you have changed, they mean access is harder to steal. Stay kind and exact. You do not defend rules with stories. You point to policy and continue. When pressure rises, you shorten scope, not standards. When money dips, you slow intake, not your dignity. The method is boring by design. Boring is how you stop getting jerked around. Boring is how you win rooms that pay for certainty. Think of this method as a small state inside your day. Roads are your schedule. Borders are your access rules. Taxes are your prices. Records are your exit notes. Inside that state, your best thinking survives long enough to become finished work. Finished work becomes proof. Proof earns trust. Trust buys freedom. When the state is healthy, manipulators lose their tools. They cannot rush you, confuse you, or guilt you into lower terms. They either step into your map or step aside. A strong brain is not loud, it is scheduled. The fastest way to look impossible to control is to become impossible to rush. That starts with cadence. Cadence is the heartbeat of your method. Reply windows, build windows, review windows, and handoff windows. When your day has a beat, other people's impulses stop dictating your moves. You become calm on command because your next action is already chosen by the system, not by the emotion in front of you. Lock your build window first. This is the sovereign block. No calls, no chats, no scrolling. You are not being rude. You are being a custodian of results. Announce it once in onboarding and then prove it every day by behavior. When a message lands inside that block, it waits. When a calendar invite tries to land there, you propose 2 slots outside. Over the next 2 weeks, you'll notice something subtle. The room paces itself to your rhythm. People who need you plan. People who don't need you drift. Both outcomes protect your thinking. Now protect your review window. This is where you digest inputs, make corrections, and update the change log. Without a review window, you live in permanent reaction. With one, you convert chaos into sequence. During review, you decide 3 things quickly. Is this inside scope? Does it change the date? And does it require a second block? You write the decision in 1 line and move on. Your brain stays light because every input leaves with a label instead of living in your head as a maybe. Your method also needs a clear gate for live time. Live time is expensive because it burns focus and sets precedent. Put calls on 2 days and keep them short with a visible timer culture. End at minute 28 with a simple handoff sentence. What we're doing, by when, and where it will live. If the other side wants to keep talking, you route to the calendar. This ritual keeps your brain from doing unpaid emotional labor. You are not cutting off humans, you are cutting off drift. People will test these gates with soft control. Just a quick call. This won't take long. Can you just peek at this? The brain hack is to refuse the frame without raising your voice. Sweet tone, hard moves. That belongs in the dock. I'll review in the window. Book a slot. Live calls, stay inside 30 minutes. That request is out of scope. I'll price it as a second block. After 2 or 3 repetitions, the tests shrink because tests stop paying. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few really know what you are." The appearance you must project is order. Dated file names, consistent locations, punctual starts, exact endings, and decisions that fit a pattern. You don't need expensive gear to look formidable. You need visible repetition of basics. Appearances buy you time because ordered people are trusted faster, questioned less, and left alone to work. Pricing is a cognitive tool, not just a financial one. Underpricing is an invitation for other people to spend your focus on their schedule. Tie money to access so your attention cannot be stolen cheaply. Base tier. Async, 2 revisions, replies in the window. Premium tier. Weekly call. Accelerated replies. Limited off-hours escalation. Rush and weekend rates by exception only. When someone asks for speed, you do not argue about your worth. You point to policy. Your brain stays clear because the decision was made weeks ago and lives in a card, not in a feeling. Scope creep is not an accusation. It's a physics problem. If you don't build a wall, the river floods. Your wall is the changelog. Every new request gets a line. Date, description, cost, scheduled start. During handoff, you attach the log and close the loop with 5 lines. What shipped, where it lives, who owns next, archive date, path to the next paid block. Never add, let me know if you need anything else. That sentence reopens the door. You are not cold. You are complete. Completion frees mental RAM. Corrections beat apologies. A brain that apologizes becomes a brain that negotiates its own boundaries. A brain that corrects becomes a brain that governs. When someone runs past the time box, you say, "We're over. Next call stays inside 30. When a message tries to hijack your build block, you reply later with the work, not with guilt. When an invoice is late, you pause work and write, "We resume on receipt." These are not moods. They are micro-laws. Micro-laws train rooms faster than long explanations. Build your escalation ladder and publish it once. Step 1. Reminder of terms. Step 2. Reduced access. Async only. Slower replies. No live calls. Step 3. Work paused. Step 4. Clean exit. Write each step in 1 sentence. Use the same sentences every time. Ladders protect your brain because they turn conflict into procedure. Predictability feels tough to people who trade in chaos, but it is actually mercy. Everyone can see the steps. Everyone can opt back into order. Machiavelli said a ruler gains respect by choosing sides clearly. A prince is also respected when he is either a true friend or a downright enemy. Your version is access tiers. Full access is rare and intentional. Limited access is the default. No access is the polite answer to chaos. You're not in the business of warm maybes. You're in the business of clean yes or clean no. Clarity increases speed, and speed preserves attention for the work that pays. Add a weekly 1-pass reset to stop decay. Decay looks like a dozen small compromises that add up to exhaustion. Off-hour replies, quiet freebies, meetings that wander. On Friday, spend 20 minutes asking, where did I react? Where did access leak? Which rule needs a single clean cut? Change once, not daily. Update the card, the signature, the template. Start Monday with fresh rails. The reset keeps your method modern without letting other people do the remodeling. Use language that carries weight without heat. Short subjects, dated, lines, verbs that decide. Proceeding with option B, delivery, Wednesday 16, Werkzeug. Request out of scope, second block opens Friday. Invoice overdue, work pauses. You are not trying to convince. You are writing the minutes of your own government. Governments that argue collapse. Governments that document endure. Guard mornings like capital. A brain that spends its sharpest hour on feeds becomes soft before noon. A brain that builds first compounds. If something is truly urgent, it triggers rush policy or waits for the window. Most emergencies die when they meet a price or a calendar. That filter alone will save you dozens of hours each month and give your best work the silence it needs. Separate circles so your cognition isn't cross-wired. Business belongs in the project thread and the calendar. Friends belong after work. Family emergencies have a clear path. When circles blur, your brain burns energy switching roles, and decision quality drops. Write the routes, then live them. If someone tries to move a business ask into your private channel, you redirect once. not because you are petty, but because you are protecting the quality of both circles. Reward people who fit your method. The human brain learns from incentive more than advice. Clients who respect Windows get faster upgrades. Teammates who hand off clean get earlier previews. Partners who deliver on time get first slots. You are not just punishing mess, you are funding order. Over time, the room fills with people who match your cadence, and the method starts to feel effortless. End each day with a tiny ledger. 2 lines, promises made, promises kept. If a promise moved, write the new date next to it and tell the other side before they ask. This 5-minute ritual prevents your brain from carrying silent debt, which is the root of most anxiety. A brain that knows where its promises live sleeps. A sleeping brain repairs. A repaired brain solves. Your goal is not to look invincible. Your goal is to be un-rushable, un-confusable, and un-guiltable on schedule. That's the brain hack method. Cadence over chaos. Procedure over persuasion. Records over rhetoric. Keep the gates. Run the windows. Price the extras. Close the exits. Intelligence becomes obvious when your attention stops leaking. A strong brain does not win by debating every input. It wins by converting inputs into routes. That is the difference between being clever and being impossible to control. Clever tries to out-talk chaos. Impossible to control routes chaos into a system. Reply windows for messages, scope lines for work, price gates for extras, and clean exits for endings. When every tug has a track, your mind stops burning fuel on micro decisions and starts compounding on the work that pays. Begin with language because language programs the brain. Long, soft messages keep your cognition in negotiation mode. Short, dated messages push it into decision mode. Replace wandering emails with single-sentence decisions. Proceeding with option B, delivery Wednesday 16:00. Replace apology fillers with structural cues. That request is out of scope. I'll price it as a second block. Replace live time grabs with scheduled routes. Book a slot. Live calls stay inside 30 minutes. The method is to make each sentence a rail, not a vibe. Rails carry weight. Vibes leak. Your second lever is the corridor. A corridor is the fixed path each kind of request must take. Updates live in DMs, edits live in the doc, deliverables live in the shared folder, calls live on the calendar, money lives on the invoice. When someone tries to push scope into your DMs or decisions into a voice note, you route them back without heat. Please add this to the doc. I'll review in the window. Do this twice, and the noise shrinks by half. Your brain feels it immediately. Fewer tabs open, more focus during the build block, less anxiety at night. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I route chaos into corridors and keep my attention expensive. Now, harden your reply windows. The mind becomes reactive when the phone becomes sovereign. Sovereignty returns when your reply rhythm becomes predictable. Choose 2 or 3 times, post them once, and then let behavior teach the rule. Messages that land outside the window do not earn explanations. They earn results inside the window. When a sender insists on instant access, you offer the premium tier or the next slot. There is no anger here, just price and timing. The brain hack is that you stop deciding 1,000 times a week and decide 3 times by design. Scope is a cognition problem disguised as a project problem. Unclear scope keeps your mind in constant threat detection. Did I miss something? Are they adding more? Clear scope frees cognition because the edges are visible. Write included and not included in plain language. When new asks arrive, they move to the second block with a later date and a higher price. If you must say yes off schedule, say it like a treaty. Start and end date, rate, and a sentence that the exception does not change policy. Treaties keep the brain stable because they protect the map from becoming mush. Machiavelli wrote about the danger of trying to please every faction. A prince is also respected when he is either a true friend or a downright enemy. For your method, that means clear access categories: full access, rare; limited access, default; and no access, polite and final for chaos. The soft middle, where you say maybe and secretly resent it, is where your attention dies. Choose a category, state it once, and behave accordingly. People trust clear borders even when they dislike them. Price becomes a cognitive shield when it is tied to access and speed. Underpricing is not just bad for money, it is bad for clarity. It invites late-night messages, scope drift, and just a quick call claims. A rate card turns those claims into logistics. Base tier, async, 2 revisions, replies in the window. Premium tier, weekly call, accelerated replies, limited off-hours escalation, rush and weekend by exception, listed in writing. When someone asks for special handling, you point to the rail that already exists. That single gesture spares your brain from emotional bargaining and keeps your calendar honest. Corrections beat apologies, because corrections close loops. When a meeting overruns, the next one ends at minute 28 with a written handoff. When a payment is late, work pauses and you send one line: "We resume on receipt." When a request arrives sideways, you route it and log it. The correction is the medicine. Apologies are the sugar that keeps the problem alive. The brain heals faster when the medicine is the habit. Clean exits are the compression algorithm for your memory. At the end of each deliverable, you send one paragraph: what shipped, where it lives, who owns next, archive date, path to the next paid block. Keep that paragraph short and repeatable. It does 3 things for cognition: reduces backscroll, prevents reopening, and signals the next gate. If a quick tweak appears after the exit, you attach the exit and the change log. You are not cold, you are complete. Completion is the diet your mind needs to stay sharp. Machiavelli warned about fortune swings and praised those who adapt without breaking their core. I hold it to be true that fortune is the arbiter of half our actions, but that she still leaves us to direct the other half. Your half is cadence and consequence. You can't control when a client panics, a teammate slips, or a tool fails. You can control where those events are routed: reminder, reduced access, pause, clean exit. When the latter is public, people self-correct sooner. Protect mornings like a leader protects the treasury. Most people donate their sharpest hour to other people's metrics: feeds, inboxes, dashboards. The method flips it. Build first, then read. If you must break the rule, price the break with rush policy. Real emergencies fund the exception. Fake emergencies die at the gate. The brain remembers what you reward. Reward building, and it will make patterns that supply you with calm. Write like a governor. Use subject lines that decide, not tease. Put dates in every promise. Log changes the moment they appear. If you are tempted to send a paragraph, distill it into 3 sentences: decision, date, location. Anything more trains others to pull you back into feelings. Anything shorter risks ambiguity that returns as rework. The right weight of words is a cognitive asset. It saves your later self from sorting out yesterday's fog. Separate circles with roots, not speeches. Business has a project thread and a calendar. Friends have after hours and a slower cadence. Family has a clear path for true emergencies. You are doing this to protect the quality of each circle, not to posture. When a business ask lands in your private channel, redirect once. When a friend tries to unload during your build block, offer a time after work. When a family matter is urgent, you handle it, or you set the check-in time. Separation saves cognition. Mixed channels create role-switching fatigue, which makes you easy to push. Leave this affirmation below. Calm cadence, hard gates, priced speed, attention stays sovereign. End each day with a 2-line ledger to empty your head. Promises made. Promises kept. If something moved, write the new date next to it and notify the other side before sleep. This tiny ritual prevents silent cognitive debt, the invisible load that makes you scroll when you should rest. A mind that ends the day with a ledger begins tomorrow with a plan. Plans beat moods. When the world calls you rigid, remember they are describing the part they cannot move. They will adapt to your cadence once they learn it is real. Your job is to be boring in the right ways. The same windows, the same gates, the same exits, the same prices tied to the same access. Boring is a high-performance drug. It lets your mind stay in build mode while the room arranges itself around your pattern. If you hold this for 90 days, short decisions, fixed corridors, reply rhythm, priced extras, clean exits, weekly one-pass resets, you will notice a deeper change. You will still face pressure, but it will reach you through channels that protect your thinking. That is the brain hack method in practice. Not tricks, not hype, just rails that make you un-rushable, un-confusable, and un-guiltable on demand. Powerful thinking is not about faster thoughts. It is about fewer, cleaner routes. By now, your brain has reply windows, a changelog, tiered access, priced speed, and clean exits. The next step is to let these rails run with almost no willpower. When rails carry the weight, you stop burning energy on enforcement and spend it on design, judgment, and delivery. The room will still try soft control, last-minute asks, quick calls, emotional pivots. But the method will make those moves unprofitable. Start with a decision tree for the 3 events that create most chaos: late payment, scope creep, and off-hour pings. Write them once and behave from the page, not from the mood. Late payment? Pause work immediately. Send one-line status. Resume only on receipt. Scope creep? Log in the changelog with date, cost, start. Confirm the later slot. Proceed with current scope only. Off-hour ping? No response until the window. If they need speed, point to rush policy. This removes debate from your day. Debate drains cognition. Procedure preserves it. Next, publish visible boundaries inside your assets so you don't have to keep saying them. Your deck footer lists the revision limit and the handoff date. Your proposal shows included, not included on page 1. Your email signature displays reply windows and the emergency path for premium tier. Your delivery note always ends with ownership transfer and archive date. When rules live in the work, pushback looks unprofessional, not personal. People prefer to be seen as professional, so they self-correct. Machiavelli warned that rulers who try to be universally pleasing invite disorder and contempt. He advised being legible and decisive even when it looks severe. A prince must avoid those things which will make him hated or despised. Your version: stop being sloppy, despised, and stop being indulgent, hated. Be exact. Be timely. Be brief. The brain is sharpest when the line between kindness and indulgence is clear. Metrics turn your posture into proof. Track 5 weekly numbers: promises made, promises kept, promises rescheduled by written agreement, percent of extras routed to second blocks, and hours protected for build. You don't shame yourself, you steer yourself. If promises kept drop, shrink scope before price. If extras slip to 0 billing, tighten the intake and republish the rate card. If build hours fall, move calls to 2 days. Numbers remove the ego fight and give your brain a dashboard. Dashboards calm rulers. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Short lines, hard gates, results on the clock. Upgrade your corridor with defaults that auto-reduce chaos. Default file names. Project feature. YYYY MMDD V1. Default handoff. A single folder link that always contains the latest version, plus a changelog. Default call agenda, 3 bullets sent 24 hours before. Default exit note, 5 lines. What shipped, where it lives, who owns next, archive date, path to the next paid block. Defaults stop the tiny arguments that make you feel controlled. When everything looks the same every time, your partners relax into your system and your brain stops doing janitorial work. Train your environment to obey the method. Set your devices to Do Not Disturb during build windows. Keep calendar buffers around calls so handoffs can be written without rush. Limit inboxes. 1 for clients, 1 for everything else. Use rules to auto-file messages by project so you review them in batches, not in dopamine drips. You are not trying to be heroic. You are trying to be boring. Boring systems are a luxury for thinkers. Boring makes room for genius. Write hard edges, warm handshakes into your tone. You can say no without heat. That item is out of scope. I'll price it in the next block. You can pause without drama. Invoice is outstanding. We resume upon receipt. You can end without lingering. Ownership moves to you today. Archive on Friday. Warmth sits in the rhythm of your delivery, not in the softness of your terms. People remember the person who closes loops more than the person who explains feelings. Build a tiny escalation ladder for yourself as well. When you violate your own window, you pay back by adding a protected block tomorrow. When you accept a quick favor, you invoice it the same day at your add-on rate. When you drift into long messages, you rewrite them into 3 lines and resend. Self-governance is how you stay impossible to control. If you can correct yourself, no one else needs to. Machiavelli said everyone sees the appearance. Few know the substance. He adds that a ruler should learn how not to be good when necessity demands, meaning break convention to preserve order. For you, that's refusing a meeting that will break your build block, even if it disappoints someone, or ending a call at minute 28 when it wants to drift. You're not being rude. You're preventing a small disorder from becoming a system. Price is a firewall, so keep it live. Never sell speed for free. Never sell mornings for free. Never sell unlimited calls for free. If a good partner needs a one-off exception, write it as a treaty. Start, end, cost, and a line that the exception does not change policy. Treaties protect your identity from drift. Drift is the hidden tax that makes smart people feel dim. You start serving everyone's rhythm and end the week with nothing finished. Protect circles. Work lives in project threads and calendars. Friends live after hours. Family has a clear emergency path. When someone crosses circles, route once without guilt. Please drop that in the project doc so it's tracked. Let's catch up after 6. The person who respects your circles respects your cognition. The one who refuses will always cost more than they pay. Build receipt culture with teammates. Every handoff gets a 1-paragraph receipt. What changed? What's next? What blocks exist? Reward clean receipts with faster reviews. Delay messy ones without apology. Culture is the average of what you reward. If you reward clarity, you will soon be surrounded by people who save your time. If you reward charm, you will be surrounded by people who spend it. Leave this affirmation below. Calm cadence, priced speed, exits on paper. End each week with a 1-pass reset. Scan your ledger and your calendar for leaks. Off-hour replies, freebies, wandering calls. Close them with 1 change each, not with 10 conversations. Update templates, rate card, signature, and exit note. Announce only what affects others. Implement the rest silently. Resetting is not an apology tour, it is maintenance. States that don't maintain turn brittle. Brains that don't maintain turn noisy. When pressure spikes, public blame, tool failure, sudden delay, move from narrative to ledger in a single sentence. Narrative: we're frustrated. Ledger: change logged. New delivery Friday, 16 graus. The first is a spiral. The second is a step. Your method exists so you can keep stepping when others are spinning. You don't need to look unshakable. You need to be un-rushable and un-guiltable on the days that count. If you run these moves for 90 days, you will see a shift that feels unfair to watchers. You will look calmer, answer faster inside windows, and finish more while talking less. Manipulators will call you rigid. Disciplined people will call you reliable. Both labels are the same reflection of one fact. Your brain is guarded by rails. That is the Machiavellian brain hack method. Make access expensive, make outcomes predictable, and let the system do the heavy speaking. The goal is not to feel powerful. The goal is to run power like a schedule. By now, your brain has windows for replies, gates for access, a change log for scope, priced speed, and clean exits. The last step is making these rails endure under pressure. When the room gets loud, when cash is thin, when delays appear, when blame starts to fly. Endurance turns a clever mind into a reliable system. Reliable systems look impossible to control because they don't bend for noise. They bend only for outcomes. Start with crisis posture. Crisis isn't a different world. It's the same world with louder volume. Keep the same map and shorten the loop. When a tool fails or a partner slips, move from narrative to ledger in one sentence. What changed? New date, new location, who owns next? Write it, post it, and return to the build window. The temptation is to explain the feelings of the moment. Resist. Feelings can be acknowledged in one line. Delivery needs the next line. Your brain stays clear because it keeps deciding instead of defending. Turn rules into assets inside everything you ship. Your proposal shows included, not included, on the first page. Your slide footer lists revision limits and handoff dates. Your signature shows reply windows and the premium escalation path. Your delivery note ends with ownership transfer and archive date. Embedding rules removes personality fights. People obey the document, not the mood. That is the quiet edge of a Machiavellian method. The paper speaks, you just enforce. Machiavelli wrote, "Injuries should be inflicted all at once. Benefits should be granted little by little. This is your blueprint for change. Make hard cuts in a single message, then deliver value in steady dated releases. From Monday, calls move to Tuthu. Rush rate applies. Archive on Fridays. Then show up like a clock. Cuts without clocks look cruel. Cuts with clocks look like governance." Drop this affirmation in the comments. Calm rules, steady clocks, outcomes on schedule. Upgrade your dashboards so decisions are automatic. 5 numbers each week. Promises made, promises kept, promises rescheduled by written agreement. Percent of extras billed in second blocks and protected billed hours. If promises kept falls, you reduce scope before you reduce standards. If extras billed is low, you fix the intake and restate the rate card. If billed hours drop, you move calls into 2 days. Numbers prevent self-gaslighting. Your brain stops arguing with itself and just steers. Move from access for everyone to access by tier in visible ways. Base tier gets async reviews and replies in the window. Premium tier gets a weekly call and accelerated replies. Rush and weekend support exist, but only by written exception and at a stated rate. When someone asks for speed, you don't debate fairness. You point to the policy card. Your mind stays light because the decision is already made in a template, not made anew in a feeling. Your corridors should now be frictionless. DMs for quick updates, docs for edits, the shared folder for files, the calendar for calls, the invoice for money. If someone tries to sneak around the corridor, scope in DMs, decisions in voice notes, money in promises, you route once. Please put this in the doc. I'll review in the window. The second time, you use the latter. Reminder, reduced access, pause, clean exit. Corridors protect cognition. Ladders protect time. Write small, hard edges into your day. Calls end at minute 28 with a one-paragraph handoff. What we're doing. By when. Where it lives. Build blocks start at the same hour, every day. Handoffs always ship before you leave the desk. Exceptions are priced and dated like treaties. Start. End. Cost. With a line that the exception does not change policy. Treaties stop drift from becoming your new normal. Generosity belongs inside the frame, not instead of it. You can add a small polish pass or send a prep note that saves a partner time, but only after delivery, and only for those who respected the map. Generosity becomes leadership when it rewards discipline. It becomes a leash when it rewards chaos. Your brain is the treasury you're protecting. Be generous with interest, not with principle. Document everything once, then reuse forever. Proposal template, change log template, exit note template, late fee language, rush policy language, naming rules for files. The less you improvise, the more you produce. Improvisation is fun at a mic. It is costly in a calendar. The bigger your template library, the smaller your decision tax, and the quicker your brain returns to building. Machiavelli warned that fortune will swing. Winners adapt without losing their core. I hold it to be true that fortune is the arbiter of half our actions, but that she still leaves us to direct the other half. Your core is cadence and consequence. You change tactics, tools, timelines, even offers, without changing the gates, the windows, or the exits. Adapt the surface, protect the state. Leave this affirmation below. Lead with outcomes, price the speed, close on paper. Make mornings sovereign. Build first, then read. If an ask truly belongs in the morning, it meets rush policy. Most emergencies evaporate when they hit a price and a clock. This single filter will return hours each week and restore a quiet mind. Quiet minds solve hard problems faster than excited minds. Practice hard edges, warm handshakes. You can say no without heat. You can enforce without contempt. That item is out of scope. I'll price it in the next block. We're over time. Next call stays inside 30. Invoice is outstanding. We resume on receipt. Warm tone, hard terms. People remember how clean you were under pressure more than how clever you sounded. Protect circles so role switching doesn't drain you. Work lives in project threads and calendars. Friends live after hours. Family has an emergency path with clear rules. When circles cross, you route once and carry on. Mixed circles multiply fatigue. Clean circles multiply attention. Attention is the fuel of intelligence. Protect it like cash. Build receipt culture with your team. Every handoff comes with a receipt. What changed, what's next, what blocks exist. Reward the cleanest receipts with faster reviews and earlier slots. Delay messy handoffs without apology. Culture is what you reward. Reward clarity and your days become lighter. Reward charm and your days become expensive. End each day with a 2-line ledger. Promises made. Promises kept. If you moved a promise, write the new date and notify the other side before you sleep. This closes the loop your brain would otherwise keep open all night. Sleep is your silent multiplier. Protect it with paperwork. When blame appears, public thread, tense call, last-minute shift, switch the room from narrative to ledger. Narrative is who felt what. Ledger is who did what, by when, and where it lives. Post the line from the changelog, the new delivery date, and the path for extras. You are not dodging emotion. You are keeping emotion from driving the car. The car runs on clocks and records. When you must cut, cut once. When you give in measured steps. That is the rhythm that reads as mature power. You will notice the quiet shift. Fewer quick calls, more scheduled ones. Fewer midnight pings, more windowed messages. Fewer one tiny tweak asks, more funded second blocks. People will label you rigid or reliable, depending on how much they benefit from drift. Labels don't matter. Outcomes do. You're not trying to appear invincible. You are building a brain that is un-rushable, un-confusable, and un-guiltable by design. That is the method. Cadence over chaos, procedures over persuasion, receipts over rhetoric. When your rails stay steady, fortune's swings feel smaller, and your work looks larger. That is the Machiavellian edge. Calm face, firm terms, proof on a date.